Voters turned against the country's two traditional major parties in Sunday's local elections, opting for young challenger movements instead. The anti-austerity Podemos party hailed the results as the start of a new political era.
Hoy podemos afirmar que los ciudadanos de nuestro país han dado un paso más, poniendo fin al bipartidismo en España.
Well, Spain's ruling People's Party lost its majority in most of the country, including the capital, receiving its worst results in more than 20 years. A Podemos-led alliance is now expected to form a coalition with the Socialists. A similar story played out in Spain's third largest city, Valencia. And in Barcelona, a Podemos candidate was elected mayor. Economist Felix Moreno de la Cova is predicting the end of the traditional two-party system in the country.
We now see a surprisingly good result in the big cities, Madrid, Barcelona, and several others. And it's just an expression of the indignation, of the anger of most Spanish people at the government policies and the way that they've impacted the Spanish economy, Spanish unemployment. If it's not a wake-up call, then it might mean the end of them. The two-party political system, I think it's probably safe to say that it's dying.
And Spain's not the only EU country seeing its political map being redrawn. Earlier this month in Britain, the Scottish National Party won an unprecedented landslide in Scotland. While before that, Greece witnessed groundbreaking changes when the anti-austerity Syriza came to power, sweeping aside two larger parties. Felix Moreno de la Cova again says the EU has to prepare for a chain reaction.
This is going to have a big impact on the coalitions governing Europe. So within the European Parliament, we're going to see a big shift. We saw it in the last elections, last European elections, with big gains by minor parties in the European Parliament. That is going to grow. Frau Merkel is going to have a lot of trouble forming majorities in the future in Europe.
Still lots ahead on RT International, including big smiles and big goals. As the Ukrainian president marks 1 year in office, we look at whether he promised too much to the nation during his election campaign. Also, mysterious giant sinkholes appear in several Russian regions. It's feared whole cities could be at risk. The details up shortly. The Netherlands has joined the list of EU nations banning symbols of Islam. That's after the Dutch cabinet approved a partial ban of face-covering veils. It means traditional headdress like the burqa or niqab won't be allowed in schools, hospitals, inside admin buildings or on public transport. The maximum fine for those ignoring the ban is more than €400. Well, the new legislation has provoked a mixed reaction amongst Dutch citizens. Let's take a look on our news wall here, what they're actually posting on Twitter. Some wonder why money is being spent on banning clothing that's not popular anyway. Others suggest that heading outside naked is now cheaper than wearing a burqa. There are tweets showing complete support for the law and even those that express a clear anti-Islamic position. Such rhetoric is fully supported by one Dutch far-right party that has been gaining popularity in recent years.
Wir werden den Islam besiegen.
Relations between religion and politics in the nation has seen its highs and lows. In 2006, the Dutch Ministry of Justice stated the majority opinion counts. So if 2/3 of the Netherlands voted to introduce Sharia law, that could be done via democratic means. In 2008, Rotterdam became one of the first major European cities to appoint a Muslim immigrant as mayor. 3 years after that, though, there's been a setback for supporters of integration, as the Interior Ministry said it shared people's disappointment over the failure of multiculturalism. The director of the European Network Against Racism, Michel Pivot, says the new law is only offending the Muslim community.
Muslim individuals are just fed up, so they will just take it as one more sign that the society is not really open to them. The Dutch government says it's not against religion, and it's also against ski masks and helmets. Well, they have all said that. In Belgium and France, it was absolutely the same type of rationale, but people understand that there are not so many people that are actually going to schools or going to hospital or in the public transport with helmets and ski masks. Everybody understands what is behind the scope of this law.
The Netherlands is heading down a similar path that other European states have taken. Muslim veils were banned in France 4 years ago. At the same time, Belgium prohibited its citizens from covering their faces in parks and on the streets. Bans at a regional level are in place in several other EU nations as well. Wearing burqas in public spaces is prohibited in Spain's Barcelona. Full-face veils were also banned in several Italian cities. More news after the break, including a deadly deluge in the United States. Do stay with us for that and more.
We are not talking the language of war, but I will only react to situations.
I have read the reports, but I'm not in a position to...
No, I will leave that to the State Department to comment on your latter point.
I don't want to say that.
Mr. Kerry, do you have any comments on the document? No comment? Thank you.
No more weasel words. When you evade a direct question, be prepared for a chase. When you throw a punch, be ready for a battle.
Freedom of speech means little without the freedom to question.